All right, let's run out to Indianapolis and talk to Alora. That's probably the raddest name of anyone on this show ever. What's up, Alora?
Hey, what's up?
Is that hey, what's up? Is your name Alora, really?
Yes.
Dude, what a beautiful, beautiful name. That's awesome. All right, so what's up? How can I help?
So my first main question is, how do I get my husband to see that, being a stay-at-home mom isn't just an easy task of doing just simple things?
What's your secondary question?
How do I get him to treat me more like a wife and not just someone to communicate with when he wants sex?
That is the question. So anytime somebody asks me, how do I get my husband to see me as a stay-at-home mom or someone who's working part-time and we've got 3 kids or whatever, I'm going to walk through the temptations here and then we'll get to your question. Is that cool? I'm going to use this as a moment to teach a little bit. So one idea is you can just go out of town for a week and just let him stay at home and figure it out, right? That happened to me early on. We only had 1 kid. And by day 2, I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what time it was. Everything was just everywhere. And there was Taco Bell wrappers growing out of the coffee table and stuff. It was just chaos. So that's the temptation number 1, right? Is I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. Temptation number 2 is I'm going to make you a minute by minute. I'm going to make you a list of my things I do every day, and we're going to compare lists. What you do at work versus what I do here, and we're going to do that. That's also a temptation. I don't think that's effective here. Because what you're talking about is honor and dignity and trust. It is not about strategy and calendar preparation, okay? And your second question is the most important one, and I think your first question about how do I convince my husband that what I'm doing is actually hard, man, that's a way distant second question to how do I get my husband to treat me like a human being?
Yeah.
When did that start?
It's been since our daughter was born. Before that, things were great, but after that, he just kind of, threw me to the side. If he wants sex, he'll communicate. Otherwise, I'll ask him what he wants for dinner, and I don't care. Or, he won't talk to me in person either. It's always through, Facebook Messenger or through text. There's no actual communication between us.
Okay, 2 important things here. Number 1, on one area, I don't fully believe you, okay? And know that I'm on your team, okay?
Yeah.
But it's very, very rare that somebody flips a switch like this. He's probably been a jerk for a long time. Is that fair or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before kid, before baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why'd you end up with him?
It was basically through being hurt, not having a dad growing up, and, I was on the verge of leaving him before our daughter was born, but when I found out I was pregnant, I was I don't want my child to grow up without her dad like I did.
Your daughter is growing up without her dad. He just happens to live in the same house. Your daughter's also getting a ringside seat into how a terrible human being treats a woman. A woman that he stood before his friends and his family and God and said, I do forever. And I'm not surprising you, though, right? I mean, you know this, right?
Yeah.
So you said you grew up without a dad. Was growing up hard?
Yeah, I was adopted, so I was basically raised in a family with medically fragile kids. I was the only one normal, so I was kind of just left to myself most of my life.
How old are you?
24.
So we're going to have a real scary conversation. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because I know you've thought this through, and my promise is I'm going to be honest, okay? This is the part when people listening to the show start yelling, just leave him. What are you doing? Why don't you just move out? Right?
Yeah.
And that's the moment when the 24-year-old mom, who's been a stay-at-home mom, who's been beaten down her entire life, says, yeah, but how do I eat? And how do I pay rent? Where am I going to go?
Yeah.
So my question for you is, where would you go?
Probably back to New Mexico where my family is.
Is that a safe place to go for a season to get your feet underneath you?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm still kind of beat down by that side of my family. I always have been because I wasn't the girly girl or the girl that went and got a degree in nursing to them like the rest of my family was, or.
You do have a degree in nursing, or you didn't get one?
I didn't. Both
Okay.
my sisters and my mom did.
Okay. All right. So you're taking a different path, and when you take a different path, it looks cool on Instagram, and B, in real life, taking your own path is hard, right? It's just harder, and that's cool. It's just more of a struggle. I'm going to go as far to say, based on what you're telling me about him, you are not in a safe position. Is that fair? Your home's safe?
Yeah. My home is safe, yes, other than, the
fact that you live with a
constant
grizzly bear who won't talk to you?
Yeah.
So let me flip this around. Have you sat down and talked to him and said, hey, what happened?
I've tried to, and he just says, basically that I'm making him sound like a monster.
Yes. He is a monster, Laura. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Defend him if he's worth defending.
No.
Are you done with this?
Yeah.
You sound done. And one of my policies on this show is I never tell somebody to get divorced unless they're at in physically or psychologically unsafe. So I can't make that call for you.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really, really important that you get with a professional counselor ASAP to do a couple of things. Number one, you have to learn how to stand up on your own 2 feet. And you can. And I think you've got those skills because you had to do that growing up in a house where you were an invisible kid. And also, it's scary, right? Especially being a single mom. Yeah. 2, you're going to have to get some wisdom and guidance on how to navigate this relationship, whether you try to save it again or you end up ending it. You're going to need somebody to walk alongside you, okay?
Okay.
I also know that stuff costs money, so I'm going to give you 3 months with my friends at BetterHelp for free, okay?
Okay.
But you got to promise me that you'll use it.
Yeah, I will.
And that might only be a bridge to get you to a counselor in town, okay? And but you got to promise that you're going to do it, and it can be weekly counseling that you can do via your phone. You can do on the computer, right, on Zoom or whatever, however you want to set it up. But you got to promise me that you'll do it. Will you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Another thing I'm going to send you for your home, I'm going to send you Financial Peace University and the Every Dollar app for a year. Here's why I'm doing that. 2 things. Number 1, I've seen it happen over and over and over again that talking about budgets forces couples to sit at a table. Sitting at a table may not be safe for you, and that's okay if it's not. But talking about money means you have to talk about what are our values and what do we want to do and what are our dreams and what kind of house do we want to live in and what kind of home do we want to have and what kind of vacations do we want to go on. It forces you to have those conversations about values and goals and unification, or parts where you're like, yeah, I'm out. You have to come to the table on that. And my little end around here is also it's going to give you some skills that you don't have about managing money, making money, how insurance and all that stuff works that you probably aren't up to skill on. But it's going to give you some insights into what life would be like if you end up going back to New Mexico for a season. Okay?
Okay.
So hang on the line. I'm going to send all that stuff to you. In all, I need you to hear me walk away with this. Number 1, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. It is. I don't blame any guy who just got married, who's working really hard, and he gets home, because this happened to me. I'd get home from work, and my wife would just hand me our kid. And she, by the way, she was working full time, so that just shows you what an ignorant moron I was. But she would just hand me the kid, and my first thought was, "Whoa, I just got home from work. You know how tired I am." That would be my first thought. That's just me being honest. And I learned in short order, oh, my fatigue is pretend fatigue compared to what she's working through, right? It's not real. Actually, it super was real, but we had to figure it out, right? So I'm not ever going to fault a guy for being like, "What do you do all day?" That's an honest question that if we don't ask that question, then what happens is you end up being quiet about it. You end up building up resentment, and that's stupid. And that is different. That's a different question too. Hey, what happens here all day is different than, I don't talk to my wife. I just talk to her on Facebook Messenger like a child. I only contact her when I want sex. I don't interact with my new baby. That has nothing to do with how do I convince my husband that I've got value, that I'm doing stuff during the day. I say this often on the show, and I'll end the call with this. Behavior is a language. So often we try to get people to talk to us, and they don't talk, or they don't have the communication, the ability to talk. We say, "Hey, will you sit down and talk to me? You sit down and talk to me." And really, through their actions, they've been loud and clear. And in a situation like this, I can ask, like, "Hey, I want to talk to that guy, see if your marriage is over." Or behavior is a language. He is being very clear. He has no interest in being married to her. He's interested in having someone to sleep with every once in a while. He's interested in having a live-in housekeeper. He is not interested in being married or having a wife, doing life with somebody. Behavior is a language. I hate this for you, Laura. We'll be with you every step of the way. Call anytime. Please reach out to my friends at BetterHelp. I got you for 3 months. Please reach out to them. You're going to need somebody in your corner because it's going to be a long, scary road. But you got this.